Me 30 male found out my 29 female wife cheated on me for 2 years and tried to cover it up by proposing polyamory. Me 30 male found out my 29 female wife cheated on me for 2 years and tried to cover it up by proposing polyamory. I do know that there's nothing particularly new under the sun here, but I wanted to talk with people who might have experienced something similar. Effectively, I just learned today that my wife, who had already been planning to leave me, has been cheating on me for 2 years and tried to get away with it by proposing polyamory. I posted in the last 6 months about my story. But basically, it's as follows. We dated since high school, married in our 20s after her mom died. We were, at least, as far as I know, monogamous the whole time. She wanted to pursue a master's degree in the medical field and applied to a couple of prestigious programs, got into one about 2 hours away from the city we live in. We talked. She moved down there and we planned to be long distance for 2 years. Then, she'd come back for a residency in our hometown the 3rd year. Distance was tough, and things started to get a bit strained, but it still felt we were in love, doing well, etc. Then in the middle of her 2nd year, she failed some classes, had to withdraw from the program and go back the following fall. This was in 2014. While she's back living with me, she brought up the idea of polyamory, saying that she'd been thinking about it. She was bi and wanted to experiment with women, that she knew she'd been my first sexual partner, and I knew I was interested in exploring group sex, other things. I was wary at first, very wary. I asked why she wanted this. If there was another partner, if she'd cheated, she swore up and down no, that it was crazy. I'd even think that. Blah, blah, blah. Fast forward 1.5 years from that moment. She's down at school. I have a serious poly girlfriend for the last year and change. She dated some women down there. Our triad is pretty tight and honest and open about everything. My girlfriend, wife, and I had even few threesomes. Life is great, right? One of the strain points was that at one point earlier this year, she told me that she had developed feelings for a man. A friend of hers down there, I always suspected of being a bit too close for normal friendship, and she wanted to know if I'd be okay to pursue them. We talked about it. I struggled with jealousy. Even though I had a girlfriend, her being with a man felt like a totally different ball game. Lol. And I wasn't comfortable with it. We got into couples counseling. She said ultimately it didn't matter that much to her, and that I was her priority, so she wasn't going to pursue anything with him. Leave it at that. This is about 2 months ago. Over the last month, our marriage completely spiraled apart. She was going to counseling with me and got engaging, saying one thing, day one, the next. Saying she fell out of love with me, all of this stuff. Basically, despite my best efforts, saying I'd do whatever I could for her. Moved to the city she lives in because a program that was supposed to take 3 years now, for complex reasons, was gonna take 5. Even considered dropping my boundary about her seeing other men. But it looks like divorce is inevitable. And then, in a fit of pique last night, I messaged a guy she told me she had feelings for, and it was like, congrats, you win. She's all yours. And he's baffled, because they've been fucking for 2 years and he thought I knew. They've been fucking regularly since before she moved back to our hometown. Since before I'd ever been presented with a polyamory. I'd literally been cuckolded for 20 months. He told me she even fucked another guy in their friend group there. Something she denies. If it had been a one-time thing, I could comprehend it better. Or if it had developed after she had been open and honest about her desire for polyamory, but she tried to use us being poly, me having another partner, and all this stuff to kind of end run this man into my life. Lying to him as well about me being okay with it. I'd literally sat across from this dude in a coffee shop chatting, helped him move stuff once, and the whole time he thought I knew he was fucking my wife, and I had no idea. I feel absolutely gut and betrayed, and just, she lied to everyone. To me, to him, to my partner, and to our friends about everything. For years. And now, my entire life has been fucking exploded, and I don't know what to do. I have a wonderful girlfriend who I met during his polyamory period, so not at all is lost. But I have never been betrayed or broken up with like this before, and it feels like someone put a shotgun to my gut and pulled the trigger. Update? Turns out, I've been played for a fool for a long time. I spoke to the other man and he told me there'd been another dude before him. I talked to that guy and he confirmed. I confronted her and she finally broke down. Maybe she's still pathologically lying, but it did seem to be the final truth that she had cheated on me for the first time in high school, twice in college, and twice after she went away to this program. Sometimes with men, once with a woman, always close friends that she developed feelings for and then couldn't extricate herself. From day one, she struggled to be monogamous, but she thought she could suppress it for my sake. Makes sense. At least now my years of being insecure, of having trust issues, of being paranoid about stuff like this, makes a hell of a lot more sense. Trust your gut, I guess.
You found out now, not in 5 years, and you don't have kids with her. Take the win where you can find it. This totally sucks, and I'm sorry this happened to you, man, but as you said, you know what you have to do. Hit the lawyer, delete a gym and Facebook up. I've not done the polyamory thing, but from what I know, it lives and dies on honesty and communication. It's pretty clear she's not into honesty and communication, so it's no longer polyamory, it's cheating. You know what to do. Back off on the girlfriend you acquired during your polyamorous period. You don't have to break up with her by any means, but you are hurting a lot, and you don't want to project your heartbreak and needs onto her in the wake of your divorce. The nurse often gets associated with the scent of the sick room, you know. And you have no knowledge of how adult relationships work generally, just the dynamic you established with your wife. You don't want to fall into old patterns simply because your ex-wife established them. You want to analyze how you feel. Your wife deceived you terribly. There is a definite risk of catching feelings in a polyamorous situation where a secondary relationship can start to dominate your interests, as opposed to a primary, but this is just straight up adultery, as you realize. I would work with a private therapist about setting boundaries and moving forward with your life. Divorce always hurts, and someone who's been a part of your life for 14 years and your entire adulthood is going to be incredibly hard to get past. My best advice for you is to feel the entirety of your pain. Be angry. Be upset. Cry. All those things. You are bereaved, it is how a divorce goes, and you need to give yourself room to feel that bereavement without judging yourself. You're not going to be mourning your wife much. To hell with her. You'll be mourning the wife and life you thought you had. You were married to a really horrible person who managed to cover it up for a long time. This sucks, but there were no kids involved, and 30 years old is still quite young. Do the usual things and you will soon feel better. Be wary of going too deep into a relationship right now. You are a mess and probably will be for a while.